So I was walking down the street in Prineville, Oregon, in my socks, and the sheriff car pulls up, and he rolls down his window and he says, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm going for a walk." And he's like, "Oh, where are your shoes?" And I was like, "Oh, they're home." He said, "Well, where's home?" And I was like, "Chicago." And he said, "Chicago? What are you doing out here?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm camping, sorta." He's like, "Camping? Who brought you out here?" It's like, "My dad did." I was 17 years old. And he said, "Your dad, where's he?" And I was like, "Oh, he's in Chicago." He's like, "Why don't you get in the car?" And I was like, "Okay, let's get in the car." Let's back up a week. I'm driving back from Cincinnati with my father, and he starts handing me these weird note cards that he's written himself that say things like, "Achievement equals setting goals and meeting them. Leadership and integrity are two of the most important things that make a man." What the heck is he talking about? And then he hands me a card that says something like, "The last few months have been very difficult for your mother and I." And I started to know where it was going. I'd been struggling with depression. I was a junior in high school in the wealthy suburbs of Chicago. Life was hard. And he said, "You know, we've decided to send you to this wilderness therapy program in Oregon." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "It's like an outward bound kind of experience. It's like this camping trip." And I was like, "Oh, okay, like, I mean, I'm a Boy Scout. Not that I'm that proud of that lately. But it's like, okay, camping trip, I can do that. I mean, it sounds horrible, but like, it'll be fine." So we get out there, we fly to Oregon. They take me to the program, they take off all my clothes, they give me new clothes, and they blindfold me and they put me in the van, which was a red flag about this program. It turns out they blindfold you, so when you get to the woods, you don't know where you are, so you can't escape. And then 5 minutes of getting there, all these kids are in a fight. It's all these teenagers punching each other. I was like, "Hey, I'm a good kid. I'm a Boy Scout, like an Eagle Scout, in fact, the highest rank in Scouting. Not that I'm that proud of that." And I find out that it's a minimum of 60 days. I find out I'll never be in a building or get to make a phone call. That I'll wipe my butt with like pine cones. That it's like Holes. You should read the book Holes. See the movie Holes. It's Holes. I went to Holes. My dad sent me to Holes. Instead of Holes, we just hike all the time, and then you have to scrub your feet into this mug, which is also the mug that you get to eat your 2 meals a day out of. When you go to the bathroom, you have to call your number, like 4 every 3 to 5 seconds, so they know you're not running away. So my third night, I decided to run away. They put you in this shelter at night, and they take your boots, and they put them in a bag, the boot bag, and they lock the bag and sleep with the key to the lock around their neck. So when I slipped out of the shelter by pushing one of the rocks off the corner of the tent, I had to run away in my socks. And that's a long story. I go over these hills and through the trees, and I end up in this field with this bowl, and I fall in this irrigation ditch and get all wet, and there's this electric like fence for cows. I got shocked, and there's literally a woman at a farmhouse with these dogs. And then I get to the highway, and when I'm walking along the highway, I'm afraid of the truckers because I don't know anything about truckers. I'm from the North Shore of Chicago. So when they drive by, I hide in a ditch, and so I get all covered in dirt. So when the cop sees me, he's like, "Did you sleep outside last night?" And I'm like, "Not really." And so we get to the program, or the police station, and they call my dad. My dad calls the program, and they pick me back up. And each day there, without question, was the hardest day of my life. Those days were harder than any other days I've had. I made friends. My best friend, drug dealer Nick Rogers from San Luis, California. And eventually I make it through. So I'm there 68 days. On the 50th day, I earn my Earth name, Grace of the Fearless Totem. And I get to go home. Now, I don't know if it made me better, you know. I think I was really hurt and betrayed by my parents that sent me to this crazy thing. But I got to eat Oreos, so I wasn't that mad when I got home. But I was talking to my father about it at Lou Malnati's in Evanston a few months ago. And I was saying, "Dad, like, do you ever regret that you sent me there? Because I really think it was the wrong decision." And he was like, "Well, John, like, what, like, has it scarred you? What's the damage that it's caused?" And I was like, "Dad, like, doesn't the pain of being there get to be enough? Like, doesn't the loneliness, doesn't the fact that it was I say without hesitation, it was the hardest 68 days of my life. I get to be reason enough to think that maybe, like, if I say it was a bad decision, that maybe it was a bad decision. And he didn't have a great response, but he would say, without question, you know, John, we were desperate, you know, because I wasn't sure that I wanted to live past high school or, you know, into senior year, and we're talking at the pizza place, and he's like, you know, and you're here. And so, yeah, there's definitely been a lot of healing from this hard decision that he made. We've been working on our relationship the last few months. He was supposed to come with me tonight. This was a bonding experience, but he wasn't feeling well, so I brought my sister instead. Yeah, so love hurts, right? And so if love hurts, and I do think this is true, if love hurts, I definitely think there is no one who loves me as much as my father. Thank you.